Countries with most karma. Humans must pray for forgiveness. Part 5 of 6 on Between Master and Disciples, held in English.
Warning: sensitive content.
What else I wanted to tell? What was the question?
It was about the nuclear explosion.
Oh, Baba Vanga. She predicted many accurate things. And other things people say were not correct, but that was because heavens interfered. All the saints and sages and all the good people in the world were praying. That's why it became less or became zero. So we always have to thank God that our prayers are heard and heavens interfere and help.
Oh yes, thanks God.
Yes, and the nuclear now.
Yeah,
What
nuclear
she predicted, an explosion.
Exactly, a nuclear explosion will go off in 2023 over Asia. Toxic clouds will be seen over Asia.
Yeah, and I did read about that. Heaven told me it will be in North Korea.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
The explosion will be in North Korea.
Oh.
And I asked why. I say, North Korea, why? Somebody will come and bomb North Korea with nuclear weapons. They say, no. Nobody wants to bomb North Korea anyway. They still hope to make peace and negotiate peacefully. Nobody hates North Korea. They just want to help.
Right.
Because even if there's any aggression, it's not the North Korean people. Mostly in any country who makes war, who has an aggressive tendency or action toward others, is just government leaders.
That's right. Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
just a few of them, and then because they have power and they control, so they do or they will do all that. It's not the normal people, normal citizens. Just wish to have peace, have bread on the table, and have happiness with family. That's all. Raise their children, put them in college and make sure they're safe, and then make sure they have enough of a fortune to marry them, help them in any way. That's all. Most normal people don't ask anything more than that. Only these devilishly ambitious so-called leaders of those nations, any nation would even think of making war or harassing or bullying other weaker or so-called poorer, less defensive countries.
Yes, Master.
I saw in the atmosphere, nobody hates North Korea at all. They feel sorry somehow and try to help. So if they even take my humble advice, I think I want to tell the North Korean leaders and the government there, please don't touch nuclear power. Don't develop any nuclear tech, because your people might not have enough talent, might not have enough knowledge or technical advancement to develop nuclear weapons. And it might, because an accident and you blow your own country up.
Oh.
That's what they told me.
Wow.
Heaven told me. So I advise them, please don't do anything with nuclear power. Better not.
Wow.
A broken arrow is the Pentagon's phrase for a serious nuclear weapon accident that could threaten the public. According to the Pentagon, there have been 33 broken arrows in the history of our nuclear program. That's the official number. But I feel very confident in saying it's a lot more than 33. This technology has constantly been on the verge of slipping out of our control. I got a document through the Freedom of Information Act that lists more than 1,000 accidents and incidents involving nuclear weapons just between 1950 and 1968. Damascus, Arkansas, a workman drops a tool in a missile silo. The tool hits the missile, causes a fuel leak, and on top of the missile is the most powerful nuclear warhead the United States has ever built. Maintenance work is being done on an atomic bomb, and the worker doesn't realize that one of the pins in the plug of the testing equipment is bent. When he plugs the pin into the atomic bomb, it fully arms the bomb and nearly detonates the bomb, which would have destroyed a large part of the Florida coast.
It is estimated that because of nuclear weapons testing in the United States, over 300,000 Americans have lost their lives. It seems as the United States killed more of its own people to develop these weapons.
One of the problems with complex technological systems is you never know where a potentially catastrophic problem can begin. We're very good at creating complex technological systems, not as good at managing them, and not very good at all when something goes wrong with them.
It's not easy to make an atom bomb, or a nuclear bomb.
Yes, I can imagine. It wouldn't be.
Yeah, you have to really know how, huh?
Yeah, I would imagine.
If one person in the team, even just one or two persons in the team, have a headache that day or quarrel with the wife at home and couldn't sleep well, and mess up in their brain, or their children were sick and they have to stay up all night, but then they have to show up to work. If one or two of them makes just 1 millimeter or less nanomillimeter mistake, then the bomb will explode.
Wow.
Or even if they succeed in making a bomb, those who take care of them could make a mistake also afterward.
Yes.
And then the whole country will be doomed, will be gone.
It's very scary.
Yeah, it is scary, my God.
They don't know what they're playing with.
You cannot imagine it, but think of Hiroshima. For example, look back at those photos.
Yes.
And look at the documentary, how people still suffer nowadays. They don't look like humans, those who suffer, the victims of the Hiroshima atom bomb.
Yes.
They don't look like humans. They suffer enormously. And in Vietnam, the war victims, many still don't look like humans.
Wow.
Many still suffer so much, even from a bomb or Agent Orange or cluster bomb or whatever you call it. I can't remember all that. I don't want to remember. I wish we don't ever have to know these names at all of these bombs or these murderous weapons that affect the innocent.
Yes.
Remember, not all the people who died or suffered or maimed in the war are the true karmic contributors.
Right.
Remember the story I told you about Moses and God, about the ants?
Ah, yes.
Moses said, why did you kill all the people? Some of them are innocent. Some of them must be innocent, but you killed the whole group of them, for example. You kill all of them. That's not fair. So God didn't say anything. The next episode, next event was some ants were biting Moses when he was sitting or sleeping. And then he just slapped and killed them all.
Yes, yes.
So God said, why did you kill all the ants? Only one or two bit you, not all of them. Moses said, but I didn't know which one bit me. I was hurt and I just, slapped them all, squeezed them all. Yes. So God said, it's the same. It's the same. The people in one group, if I destroy them all. I cannot consider who did or who did not sin. Yeah.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yes, Master.
So I was thinking very faintly in my mind that it could be that Ukraine has... I told you before that it's not Ukraine's karma, remember?
Yes, you did.
2 times. Recently and a long time before, I say the war is not because Ukraine's karma is that big.
Yes.
But I thought I could be wrong. So when I asked about which country has karma, why so much war, and they told me because every country has karma, and then the collective karma will kill this and that area of people.
Yes.
So I was asking, can you tell me which country? And then they told me that top 10 list.
Yes.
But in the faintest thinking of my mind, I was thinking maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's Ukraine who did something. Maybe Ukraine has very big karma, which I wrongly calculated. Maybe I didn't know. Maybe something was hidden that I did not know. But Ukraine's not in the top 10.
No, that's right.
Not even in the top 30, if it continues.
Wow.
So I told you correctly that it just had to happen somewhere.
Yes.
It's not necessarily the Uranian karma. Yeah, I told you.
Yes.
And I'm glad that I knew like this way. But I was so shocked because I didn't expect the names of these countries in the top 10 list.
Yes.
From the outside look, you don't see that much.
You wouldn't think, no way.
No, I can never even imagine that. Not even in my dreams would I think like that. So these people who happen to be born in such and such top 10 country might have done something else, more drastically in the past lives. So now they have paid their debt somewhere, maybe in hell or something, and they are allowed to be born again in that and that country, but still the karma is not yet done. So if something happens to them or they have to go back to hell again, it's because of that, of the storage karma.
All right.
But this lifetime, being a human, they have a chance to redeem it. And very quickly, my God, what for I tell all this if it's not truth? What do I gain from it?
Oh, that's right.
Just be vegan, repentant, make peace. Ask God for forgiveness, okay? That's included. Be vegan, make peace, do good deeds. That's to show you are repentant and you U-turn. What for I tell people to be vegan if it's not true? I swear to God, punish me if it's not true. Because just by going in a different direction, the calamity in the opposite direction will not touch you. How? If your garage is on fire, don't go there.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
If your house is burning, don't return inside the house. Just stay outside, run away.
Yes.
If the wind blows the fire from your house or from your village or from your forest in the north direction, then go south.
Yes, Master.
Do whatever is the quickest way you can. Drive, run, jump into water, do anything opposite to that fire. It's the same. Killing karma will add more and more karma, and it will punish you, torture you in hell, no end. Since you already have bad karma, there's no merit anywhere to make up for it. Some people eat meat all their lives, but they have maybe very huge good karma from former lives. So therefore, they might be spared from COVID karma, COVID-19, or spared from any other horrible death. But that doesn't mean it might spare you in hell.
Ah, yes.
Or in the next lifetime.
For Josh Miles, coming down with the flu turned into a life-changing experience. He was sick with a 106-degree fever.
That's right. His dad was so concerned that he took him to the ER. And on his way there, Josh's soul left his body. And he says he went straight to hell.
The torture is at a level that you really can't comprehend in the human mind. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty... It's a hard thing for sure, especially if you're going to be there for eternity. It's so hot. And we're talking like thousands of degrees hot, and there's so much torment. Your body is not burned. Your skin is not burned. It's not getting eaten by heat or anything like that. It's just you feel so much heat and so much torment, but yet your body itself is not experiencing any effect of that. You're feeling so much pain and regret and paranoia and all of these different emotions at one time. I tell people, you imagine your worst day you could ever have. And it's multiplied tenfold, thousandfold when you're in hell. It's a place that I really, you should be scared of it.
Wow.
People think that God sent people to hell. We choose our own. God gave us a will for a reason. We choose our own path of life. And if you choose him, that's where you end up. If you choose another way, then hell's where you end up. It's not like God is like, hey, people go to hell. He wants us to go to heaven. He wants us to live with him. He wants us to be his bride. But we have to choose him. But there's millions of people in hell. Like it is millions upon millions. And everybody's standing on like shells of rock, like molten rock. And everybody's screaming out and in turmoil. And it's crazy because you are in pain and turmoil yourself. This is true. But to see other people go through that kind of turmoil hurts even more, and you can remember the things that you did on this earth, secrets and things like that. And you actually have a hunger and a thirst for God himself because you didn't make it and you're just begging him to come get you, but you already know it's too late. And that makes it even more painful when you have a love for God, And sometimes we take advantage of that here, and then you end up in hell. You don't have a choice anymore because you're there.
So why do you think the Lord took you down to hell and then also showed you heaven?
I think it was to give people perspective. Yes, heaven is a wonderful thing. That is true. But hell is also something to take serious. You know, I mean, people, you can go to church every day and still go to hell. You know, people have to understand that you have to really walk this life out.
Now, Josh, you say that death is not the worst thing that can happen to a person. Why do you say that?
Death is not the worst thing. The worst thing is, where will you go when you die? I think people kind of misconstrued that. Like, don't be scared of death. Don't rush to it, obviously, but don't be scared of it. But it depends on where you're going when you die. Are you really walking out this life of God for real? I don't mean just going to church. I don't mean just feeding the poor. I don't mean just praying 8 hours a day. I'm talking about really walking this life out in every area that you can. So you have to realize that you don't have time. You don't have tomorrow. You don't have the next hour. You don't have the next minute. You have to really understand that I need to walk this out and have a heart for God right now. Because if you can't tell yourself, if I went and died right now, that I will be for sure going for heaven. If you're not completely sure about that, you have a really hard task, and you really need to fix that. You really need to have a heart after God and really walk with him, because you are not guaranteed your next moment. I'm 25 years old. That happened to me out of nowhere from the flu. I've had the flu so many times in my life, and that happened to just happen out of nowhere. And I'm only 25 years old.
And people who went to heaven and came back, these near-death people, they only went to the astral world, and still they were so attached to it, they didn't want to go back to earth. Imagine if higher heavens.
Wow, yes.
Everyone knows that if we eat 8 ounces from others, we have to return half a pound. The principle of causality never changes, so we should not eat meat. The Grand Dharma Master Wei Chui, vegetarian,